Hey everyone, and welcome back to this week's Self-Love Masterclass. It is so great to be back here with you today. I feel like it's been way too long since I've put out a video, and definitely, given what we're dealing with right now, this video is so needed. So at the time that this video is airing, we would have just found out that Donald Trump was elected the next president of the United States. And whether you live in the US or not, this is an issue that affects all people globally. And a lot of us, whether they are for Hillary or for Trump, are feeling a lot of pain, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and a lot of heartbreak. So I wanted to do this video because I really want to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves, that in the face of activism, as we're out there standing for the rights of all human beings and standing for unity, that we are okay. All right. Now, I am going to be very straight with you. I am not a Trump supporter. I am not judging anyone who is a Trump supporter. But this video is really geared towards insensitivity for people who are being told to just let it go or get over it or to move on. That they're being angry or hateful because they're speaking up against injustices or because they're speaking up for human rights. I want to just talk a little bit about why it is important for us to just be ourselves in the face of what we might be dealing with and what has been stirred up with this election. We need to process our emotions and grieve, okay? If you're feeling sad, if you're feeling angry, if you're feeling afraid, if you're feeling worried, whatever you're feeling. Because if we don't process our emotions, if we don't take the time that we need to heal, those emotions become suppressed. And I work with people every day who have suppressed fear, suppressed anger, suppressed pain and sadness. And it shows up in their life in ways that they don't want. It stops them, it blocks them, and it keeps them paralyzed in their life. And I don't want any of us who are standing for love and unity to be negatively impacted because other people were trying to rush us or trying to suppress us or trying to tell us how we should feel. So take your time and process the way that you need to. We don't want to have good-hearted humans ending up with overwhelming feelings of anxiety in their day-to-day life or depression or illnesses related to chronic stress because they didn't have the time that they needed to process, to really deal with everything that they're feeling and then move on when they're ready, okay? So don't let anyone push you around. Don't allow other people's opinions of your state of mind or how you feel to make you do anything that doesn't feel right and isn't comfortable for you. Now, I want to talk a little bit about why some people are so insensitive, okay? Because I think when we really understand why people do the things they do or why people are the way they are, it helps us to not take things so personally. It additionally helps us to have compassion for others if that's something that we want to offer. Now, I can say personally, look, when I'm dealing with somebody who is being racist or is being sexist or being homophobic, someone who's a misogynist, a bully, that sort of thing, I don't want to offer love as a way to condone their behavior. I'm certainly not in agreement with anything that they're saying, but I recognize that compassion actually helps me. It's for my own mental health and well-being. So when I'm loving myself and taking care of myself, then that just inevitably transfers to other people. So look at it this way. Compassion is how you take care of you in the fight, is how you take care of yourself when you're out there setting boundaries. And love is how you take care of you. other people receiving it is an awesome spillover or byproduct of that. But don't feel like you have to just jump to loving someone or jump to being compassionate towards someone who is being hateful towards yourself or other people. That is just so inauthentic, and it is so attacking the intuition that God gave us to actually help us to deal with terrorism, hate crimes, just to deal with that ugliness. The other thing that I want to say is oftentimes the people who are really insensitive are people who are just not feelers. They are people who lack empathy, and they're people who they themselves have a difficult time connecting with their own emotions, so they don't have the capacity to connect with someone else's emotions, to step into someone else's shoes and to see how they're feeling, to actually take on that person's perspective and point of view to a degree where they can really feel why the other person feels the way they do and why they may be behaving or acting in the way they do. So insensitive people just don't have that capacity. They are people who are usually more in the mental body. They're more in their heads, and they're more interested in solving problems in a very pragmatic or a very linear way. And so they then try to handle other people's emotions or their discomfort with other people's emotion, their irritation with other people's emotion by controlling and telling them what to do, okay? And this is often what you'll see in relationships that are even sometimes abusive. And it's not that people intentionally mean to do so. There are people who intentionally mean to behave in this way, but for a lot of people it's very unconscious. For you, just understand that this is a person that lacks empathy. This is a person who can't really feel, and that's what you're dealing with right now. So anything that they're saying to you, anything that they're posting on their Facebook, on their walls, conversations you're having at your dinner table, emails and letters that you're getting, this is part of what's happening, okay? It's not about you. And I think in the latter part of this video, which I'm about to really jump into, we're going to talk about how we can take care of ourselves. Because we need to be self-expressed. As I said earlier, we need to be able to process our emotions. And we also need to just not be broken and bruised by the language, the tone, the energy that and the judgment that people are projecting onto us, okay? Okay, so the first thing that's going to help us to take care of ourselves is for us to really understand what behaviors are hurting our feelings, or what behaviors and actions occur to us as insensitive, okay? So is it the tone in which someone is speaking to us? Is it the way they're looking at us while they're sharing their arguments? Is it that they don't listen? So for example, we might say stop and they continue anyway. Is it the fact that when we say how we're feeling, they say we're stupid or we're blowing things out of proportion? They try to minimize or reduce the way that we're feeling. Is it that they don't listen at all? Is it that they cut us off? Like, just really get clear on the things that hurt your feelings, the things that you've addressed with other people to let them know that it hurts your feelings and they bypass it anyway, so that it's not like you're just creating this huge ball of energy about how people are bad or the world is a terrible place or that sort of thing, but you're just clear that there are behaviors that may be okay for others that just aren't okay for you. You just have different standards and different values, and so there are things that are acceptable to you that may be acceptable to others, and there's just a misalignment, okay? I'm not going to dive into the world of right and wrong. I don't think it's going to really help anyone. We have the power to believe whatever we want to believe. So for me, I know that there are things that I just don't tolerate in my life, and I'm not going to tolerate them. And it's important for me to know what those things are. So if you are just feeling upset, but you don't really have an exact idea of why, get clear on why you're upset and what's upsetting you, so that we can then move on to another stage of taking care of ourselves through this all. once you're really clear about the stuff that upsets you, the things that are insensitive in your opinion, then you can really decide how you want to focus your energy. So here you are, this conscious human, this person that's really committed to unity and bringing people together, and you're dealing with people that are racist, homophobic, people that are bigoted, that sort of thing, or people who just want to spackle over the issues that are happening in the reality that we're living in. And listen, there are even a lot of spiritual teachers that are trying to do that. They're just trying to like tell people to just be love and not be afraid and these kinds of things. And they mean well, but they're not dealing with how people are actually feeling right now. They're actually not helping people to process. They're just telling people to go and arrive at some point. People don't know how to get there, right? And maybe people don't want to get there. Like, everyone has the right to experience, feel, and be where they want to be. So anyway, let me just bring it back. Okay? So now you want to focus your energy is what I'm talking about. So for example, me. I know that when I go on Facebook, I have friends that are Trump supporters, and I have friends that are Hillary supporters, and I have friends who are sick of the whole thing. I know in my newsfeed I'm going to see all different kinds of things. Some things I'm going to find super offensive, and they're going to upset me like crazy to no end. And some things are going to really uplift me and inspire me. Now I have to decide, this is the focus I'm talking about, how much energy I'm going to spend on the things that really upset me or really offend me. So one day I might say to myself, okay, I'm actually going to go and have healthy debates with some of my friends, even though it's painful, even though it upsets me, even though I think they're, let's not call any names, even though I don't agree. So I'm going to spend 1 hour doing just that. I'm going to go in, I'm going to dig deep, I'm going to go in the trenches of where some of these ugly things are being said, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that for an hour, and then I'm out. And then some days I just don't have the emotional bandwidth, the capacity, or the desire or interest to engage with people and their hatefulness. I just don't. So then I just say, you know what, I'm going to unfollow this person, I'm going to unfollow that person, and I'm not going to expose myself to certain things, and I'm going to do things that help me to feel good and help me to push my message. So I'm going to go work out, I'm going to go dance, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go have healthy conversations with people who are aligned with my perspective. I'm going to share a video, I'm going to create a video and put it out there to help other people, these kinds of things. So we don't want to get to this place where we're just being sucked in, dragged in by other people's opinions or other people's energy that doesn't feel good or right for us. So that's how we take care of our energy and how we take care of ourselves, by deciding and scheduling how we will interact and engage with the world and people who are not fully understanding and aware of where our activism, which is not anger, which is not judgment or anything like that, but it's just an expression that maybe not everyone is comfortable with right now. So we get to decide how much we expose ourselves to opposition to who we really are. The other thing that's so important, I feel, is that we respect ourselves enough to know that we can create boundaries with who we spend our time with and who we don't spend our time with. Like, a lot of us feel as though because someone's a family member or because someone is very close to us, that we have to engage in conversations that are hurtful, or we have to accept behaviors that aren't okay for us, that make us feel broken or unsafe. We don't have to do that. I know that we all love our families and we love our friends, and we are all committed to oneness, and we are all committed to unity. And there is a point where you have to allow someone to be whoever they are. And if that person, the way that they are, who they be, their fullest expression of themselves is something that causes you pain, it's okay to remove yourself. It's okay to say, maybe I can't spend as much time with you, rather than constantly trying to force that other person to change or be something that they're not, you know? You have to gauge and decide. Like, there may be times when you guys can work it out and you can get through it and get past it. But if it's like, let's say you're somebody who's gay, or you're lesbian, or you're Muslim, and people are constantly saying horrible things about Muslim and gay and lesbian people, well, I understand why you may not want to spend time with them, right? So don't force yourself to be in the space with people who hurt you repeatedly, ongoingly, and particularly people who don't have a commitment to change or to consider your feelings. Okay, this one is one point that I'm really, really passionate about. It's important for us to be leaders in our own lives. So a lot of us are feeling like, okay, like, is this the world? Is this what's really happening right now? This divisiveness and all of this kind of stuff. And we're feeling really scared and disempowered. And fear is something that can be used. So I don't want to tell you not to be afraid. I don't want to tell you not to spread fear. Okay, what I would say is, let's use the fear. Okay, because if we're feeling afraid, if we're feeling anxious, if we're feeling worried, let's not dismiss it. Let's look at how we can channel it and use it. So fear has all different kinds of benefits. When we're afraid, we have a heightened sense of clarity, a heightened sense of focus. And for a lot of us, fear is what actually forces us to move and forces us to take action that maybe we were a bit too complacent about. So for me personally, that's how I use my fear. And that means me making videos like this. That means me stepping outside of my comfort zone and talking about issues of race and issues of gender inequality, and talking about the rights for all people and all different religions. Like, where I would normally stay silent and quiet, now I'm like really bold and out there. And that's how I'm using my fear to set healthy boundaries, and to also not allow myself to be pushed around by other people who are uncomfortable with that. So I invite you to use your fear that way, rather than people who are just trying to tell you that you're spiritually immature, or that you're listening to puppets, or you're buying into conspiracy theories, or that you're just like not shifting your consciousness or not vibrating higher. Like, come on, people. I think we're past that point. I think a lot of us are very conscious and very aware, and we recognize that we live in a human body and we're human beings. So you can love and light all you want, okay? But we're here in the human body, so we need to take care of humanity. And there are all different ways to do that. There are loving and quiet and personal ways to do that. And activism and speaking out and making videos like this can also be a way that we love and bring people together and unify people and strengthen people and offer people courage. So I want to be perfectly clear that whatever way you express yourself, whatever way you express your light, whatever way you process, whatever your channel of activism, whether it's through healthy foods, yoga, being on the front lines, politics, law, music, whatever way you motivate people to come together is great. There isn't one better way or one less better way, or the good and the bad, or one conscious and one unconscious. Like, don't buy into that stuff. Be yourself. The other thing that's really important for us to remember, and this is going to really help us to take care of ourselves, is to just let go of the expectation that everyone's going to support us and understand us. There are going to be people who see your point of view, who see your conduct and see the way that you are expressing your light, the way that you are out there spreading your message. And they might call it negative. They might say you're overreacting. They might say that you're being silly or stupid. They might label you angry or difficult. They might say all of these kinds of things. And you know what? That's to be expected. a lot of change comes from pioneers. These are people who are on the front lines that see something that not everyone sees, you know? It's like they just have a perspective that isn't yet the common perspective or the perspective that the collective holds. And so you're always going to be met with opposition or adversary. You're always going to be met with opposition. And so the more comfortable you can get with understanding that you have a framework that not necessarily everyone understands yet, particularly if there is another framework that is heavily pushed or that a lot of people buy into, then that's kind of what you're going to experience. Okay, and this one that I want to share with you is one that has helped me a great deal, and it's one that I am sharing with all of my clients and all of my friends. It's really, instead of explaining yourself, share, okay? Because I think one of the things that has us feel really drained and exhausted dealing with all of this is that so many of us are trying to use facts and prove and convince and show people why our point of view is the right one, and like why they should get on board and why they should believe us. And oh my God, it is exhausting trying to convince someone who's not committed and isn't interested, doesn't really care, and sees you as being somebody who's silly or stupid or overreacting, right? Why would you want to subject yourself to that kind of abuse? So instead, what I do is I share. I just share my perspective, my experiences, my feelings. Here's what I'm doing. Here's how I see it. Here's what I want. Here's how I'm feeling. Here's a question that I'm reflecting on. Here's a question that you can reflect on. These are the way that I frame things. Because quite frankly, I'm not interested in convincing anybody. I'm not interested in controlling anybody or telling anyone what to do. And I encourage you all to be the same. Don't try to encourage, convince, or tell people what to do. Share. When you share, it allows those who are open and interested and committed to see things in a way that they wouldn't be able to if you were trying to beat them over the head or tell them how they should think. Let people think for themselves, and those people who are interested in educating themselves and informing themselves will be attracted and open to listening to your perspective, and they may take on something that you say. Just be true to yourself. So, I hope that this video has been super helpful for you. I hope that the points that I've made has really helped you to take care of yourself and just be strong in the face of dealing with insensitivity and some people's lack of consciousness. If you're new to my channel, definitely, if you've enjoyed this video, check out the other videos that I have. And don't forget to subscribe. I normally do videos every week. Things have been a little bit busy, but I'm going to be getting back to that. And I really just love us connecting face to face here on video on YouTube. It's so powerful. And I'm looking forward to your comments and your questions. If you like the video, don't forget to like it so that I know you liked it and I know what style you want more of, what content you want more of. And of course, I think most of you know this already, but for those of you who don't, I'm also on Instagram. My handle is @ModernDayWiseWoman. We've got like some 11,000 people following me there, and it's awesome. So if you're just like into self-love, you're interested in the self-love journey, you're into spirituality and the woo-woo world of spirituality, things that are a little bit off the edge of reason, and just like how to be an awesome human, how to love yourself, love other people, make a difference for other people, definitely come over to Instagram and let's jam there. All right, I know this video has been long, but it was so necessary, and I love you all. And don't you forget, until we see each other again, we truly are in this together. I love every single one of you.